Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this video, I wanted to try and discuss the recent documentary that aired a week ago on HBO called Leaving Neverland. There's a documentary about, or 4-hour documentary that aired over 2 nights about 2 Michael Jackson's excuse me, alleged victims. And I personally have not seen the documentary because I don't have HBO. I have cable, but I don't have HBO, so I could not see that documentary as it aired last week. But from what I heard about it, what I've read and seen about it on various news channels and stuff, I'm going to try to make a commentary on this documentary. And because I figured everybody else is talking about it, all the other critics are talking about it, so I figured I'd jump on the bandwagon as well. But of course, Leaving Neverland is, of course, a documentary that just aired a week ago in 2019 here, and about two good friends of Michael Jackson who now, almost 10 years after Michael Jackson died, because on June 25th, 2019, would be exactly 10 years since Michael Jackson had died of a drug overdose of Pulverville. And after 10 years, he almost exactly 10 years after he died, and not only that, but 14 years, almost 14 years after he got acquitted for molesting Gavin, the boy Gavin, who was the only one of 2 boys that ever came forward before when Michael Jackson was alive. They actually went to trial for. He now all of a sudden, 2 other guys come forward and accuse Michael Jackson. I mean, I'm like, when I first heard about this documentary, I'm like, what is the point of these 2 guys coming out almost 10 years after Michael Jackson had died, and 14 years after he got acquitted for molesting kids back in 2005? Why are they coming out now and telling their stories instead of telling it at the time? I mean, there was a time to nail Michael Jackson, send his ass to jail for 20 years, whatever amount was, if he was convicted on all counts in 2005. Why are they all of a sudden coming out now? I mean, that's the problem that I have with it. Why didn't they come out at the time? Or came out during the 10 years between the 2 accusations, between 1993 and 2003, why didn't these 2 bozos come out then and tell the stories then? Or, at the time of the trial. True, I think it was like a gag order in effect for the Jackson trial, but at least, before the gag order came out, or after the trial was over, why didn't they say, look, I testified in the court and he molested me too? I mean, why in the hell did they, or when Michael Jackson was first arrested, I think it was November 2003 when he was first arrested for molesting Gavin, why the hell they didn't come out then? That was the huge problem I had when I first heard of this documentary. The 2 guys who we're not kids anymore, the grown men, were accusing Jackson, or one was like Jimmy Safechuck, who did the Pepsi commercial back in the late 80s, early 90s, the Michael Jackson Pepsi commercial, where he was wearing the hat and the gloves and impersonating Michael Jackson. It was one of the first of the mini Michaels. If you know what I'm talking about, you can see the Michael Jackson's Secret World documentary, which is on YouTube, which is the sequel that Marwan Bashir made to was a sequel to Marwan Bashir's original documentary, Living with Michael Jackson. So, he was the first of these mini Michaels who impersonated Michael all the time, to travel with him and stuff. And now, years later, more than 25, almost 30 years since he did that commercial, now all of a sudden it's coming out saying, Michael Jackson molested me. At the time that Michael Jackson was arrested, and just before his trial started, Jimmy Safechuck made a statement especially at the time of the furor of the Mohan Bashir documentary, because they went back and tried to get every boy who was with Michael in some way. And even talked. Well, he didn't. He wasn't actually physically interviewed for the documentary, but Jimmy Safechuck gave a statement at the time saying he never molested me. Now all of a sudden, 14 years later, now Jimmy Safechuck comes out with a statement saying that he molested me. I mean, what the hell was... I have to say this, Jimmy, if you haven't been watching this video, where the hell were you 14 years ago when Michael Jackson was on trial? Why didn't you testify then? Why didn't you come out with a statement then? But no, you said you denied that Jackson ever molested you. Why waited 14 years or 10 years after he had died that he molested you? I mean, you don't have any fucking balls, I have to say. Excuse my language. You don't have any balls at that time to go to accuse him. Same thing with Wade Robson, who was the other guy who was in the document. There's only two guys. I don't know why that Gavin was not interviewed for this thing. Who was the accuser who they actually went to trial for. Or Gavin. I think Gavin. Gavin was the accuser for the 2005 trial. Or Joey Chandler, who was the original accuser in 93. I think Joey Chandler is still under, even though Michael Jackson's been dead for 10 years, I think he's still under a court order not to talk about what happened to him. So, it would be interesting if somehow HBO was able to break that court order on the confidentiality agreement to tell his story. Then it would be, a little more interesting. Even though Joey Chandler took a payoff, a $25 million payoff for Michael Jackson, and a confidentiality agreement saying you can't talk about it. But I don't know why these two guys, after all these years, came out. I mean, to me, that's a credibility problem. Why did they wait 10 years after Michael died to talk about what happened? I mean, it's kind of like what happened with these kids with the Catholic priests. They wait like 30 years and they come out and say, oh, this priest molested me, or that priest molested me. I mean, that's starting to happen now with Michael Jackson. The only difference is that most of those priests are still alive, at least for the most part, are still alive. But unfortunately, Michael Jackson isn't to defend himself on that stuff. And I believe that now. I've always believed at the time that Michael Jackson was a child molester. Especially during the 2005 trial, I believe that he was a child molester. And unfortunately, not enough kids at the time came forward and said that yes, he was molested. I was molested too. Not enough at that time. Because the problem was that Michael and his people and his family at the time put so much pressure on these kids to not accuse Michael of anything. Oh, it's all innocent, Michael's all innocent, yada, 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 because he never had a childhood, that's why he's hanging out with you kids. But the point of the matter was that the truth is that they did put a lot of pressure on these kids not to say what happened. So that's why Michael used to get annoyed, especially during the Mohan Bashir interview, especially the interview with all the footage that you never meant to see part. Show that aired on Fox, on the Fox TV network. That's why he got annoyed about, and he had to keep paying off these kids not to say anything. I wonder how much in reality, how many kids that he actually paid off. Of course, the two people who are never going to say that Michael Jackson molested them, or the two guys, or at least one of them anyway. You know for sure they got molested, but would never admit to anything. And that's Macaulay Culkin, who was really Michael. I think it was also Emmanuel, to a lesser extent, Emmanuel Lewis. I think these two guys were two of Michael Jackson's lovers, and two guys the two kids at the time that Michael Jackson molested. I have no doubt in my mind that Michael Jackson molested Macaulay Culkin and Emmanuel Lewis. But unfortunately, those two guys are never going to finger Michael Jackson for anything. Never. And there was a kid who, on the one Berkshires documentary that I mentioned earlier, Michael Jackson's Secret World, there's a couple of people in there, one kid and one older, who admitted that Michael Jackson didn't molest them, and the other guy said, all the pedophile stuff is a bunch of crap. I think it was his exact quote, or him being a child molester is a bunch of crap. It was his actual quote. And I wonder how much Michael Jackson paid those two to say that. How much money it cost him to pay to have these two guys say all that stuff. But as for leaving Neverland, we all knew what Michael Jackson was when he was accused the second time. Because a lot of the more information came out about what he was. And that jury who took him off, that was the only way to get him off. And even the director of the documentary says, hey, when he was accused in 2005, the lawyer, Tom Mesereau, who was his lawyer, or Michael Jackson's lawyer, he did the right thing. By blaming the mother for putting her son, Gavin, or Gavin's mother, I should say, was the one responsible for putting Gavin in that situation, so she could get money out of him. I mean, that was the defense, and the jury bought that defense. And well, I do hope that the jury is very, very upset of the fact that now more stories are coming out, and hey, you guys got convicted them. You stupid mother effing jurors were the ones who acquitted him back in 2005. So you all deserve anything you get for it, because there was the only way to get him off was to blame on the mother for putting Gavin in that situation. You're giving him to letting him sleep with a child molester. So the mother deserved it to get crapped on. That's for that. Forget all the other stuff that she was accused of, J.C. Penney, or the welfare fraud, all the other crap that came up during the trial. She was the one responsible for putting her child in that situation. Right? So, but for these two guys, for Jimmy Safechuck and Wade Robson, who actually testified in Michael Jackson's trial, and he should be charged with perjury because he lied on the oath saying, oh, Michael Jackson never molested me. Now all of a sudden he's saying, oh, I got molested. I mean, come on, what the hell did he get off? Lying on the oath. And his excuse was, or at least Wade Robson's excuse, because Jimmy Safechuck never testified in the trial, never gave a formal statement under oath or anything. So he can't be charged with perjury. But Wade Robson could. That's the statute of limitations. Well, because like 14 years already since the Michael Jackson trial. But the reason why he did it is because, oh, Michael told me that if I mention anything, or if I say anything to anybody, we both could be in trouble. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. You molesting a kid, and thinking that he would get, yeah, Wade Robson get in trouble with his whole fucking family. Oh, excuse my language. A whole Jackson family, plus all the Michael Jackson fans. I'm talking about those crazy, fanatical Michael Jackson fans that are out there, because all of them, when Michael was accused in '93, believe me, Joy. I don't know this for sure, for 100% sure, but I'm sure that Jordan Chandler was threatened with his life. He got death threats. Gavin, in 2005 trial, and in 2003 when he first made the accusation, and in 2005 when he had the trial, that he was receiving death threats, and anybody else who had the nerve to come forward with death threats were getting threatened by not only Jackson's family, but Michael Jackson's fans as well. That's why it took so long. Even now, they getting. I'm sure that after this documentary came out a week ago, they're getting threats now, boy. I'm telling you, they're getting death threats from these fanatical Michael Jackson fans. I'm sure if there's anybody else, any other celebrity, I'm sure there are fanatical fans of maybe celebrities out there who would defend these celebrities to the death. And so some cases, but Michael Jackson fans are really more fanatical than anything else, than for any other celebrity. And one thing I am glad is I'm glad that he's dead now, so he can't molest anybody. That's all I have to say. And I say the same thing with all those Catholic priests as well. Those who have died, who molested kids, glad you guys are dead too. You have nothing to be feared about. But we all know what Michael Jackson is, folks, or what Michael Jackson was. I'm not saying he wasn't a great entertainer. I'm not saying he wasn't a great singer or a great performer on stage. But you can't take away from what he did when he wasn't on stage or in a recording studio. Because whatever time that he didn't spend in a recording studio or on stage, he was out molesting kids. There's no question about it. Can't believe it went this long talking about this, but you know, figured to get on the bandwagon on this. So that's my take on the documentary Leaving Neverland. Please click on the video, please subscribe to my channel, please follow this video on your Facebook pages. You can check out all my videos not only on my YouTube channel, but rowdyc.com, so WDY. C.com, it's one page around reviewer Christy Moore, and please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.